We are honored today to have Camryn Manheim, award-winning actress and author, as our commencement speaker. Camryn Manheim recently finished shooting 3 independent films, Just Peck, Love Hurts, and Fort McCoy, and she's headed back for season 5 of the CBS drama Ghost Whisperer. Prior to that, Camryn spent 8 years playing defense attorney Eleanor Fruit on the ABC Emmy Award-winning drama The Practice. Her portrayal of feisty defense attorney garnered her both an Emmy and Golden Globe Award. In 2006, Camryn was nominated once again for an Emmy and a Golden Globe for her portrayal of Gladys Presley in the CBS miniseries Elvis. Last summer, Camryn was the nurse in Romeo and Juliet for Shakespeare in the Park in New York City and worked with Tom Selleck and Kathy Baker in the TV movie Thin Ice. Her most recent projects include Anthony Hopkins' Slipstream, An Unfinished Life with Robert Redford and Jennifer Lopez, Dark Water, Marilyn Hotchkiss Ballroom Dancing, and Charm School, and the soon-to-be-released Behind the Smile with Damon Wayans. Among her other film and television credits are the Showtime series The L Word, Scary Movie 3, Romy and Michelle's High School Reunion, Happiness, The Laramie Project, The Road to Wellville, 2.5 Men, Will and Grace, Chicago Hope, Ally McBeal, How I Met Your Mother, The 10th Kingdom, and the Showtime miniseries A Girl Thing. In 1999, Camryn fulfilled a lifelong dream and became a New York Times best-selling author with the publication of Wake Up, I'm Fat, published by Broadway Books. She received a Bachelor of Arts degree at the University of California, Santa Cruz, and her Master of Fine Arts degree from New York University. She has taught and guest lectured all over the United States and was named one of the most intriguing people of the year by People magazine, one of the most fascinating women of the year by Ladies' Home Journal, and one of Glamour's Women of the Year. In the past few years, Ms. Manheim has generously come to our campus to give master classes to our theater arts students. The first invitation came from Hugh O'Gorman, head of acting in the Department of Theater Arts. Ms. Manheim and Hugh O'Gorman originally met in New York City at a lunch one day between matinee and evening shows at the famous Sardi's restaurant. Hugh was then doing the Brian Friel play Translations on Broadway, and Camryn was doing her award-winning show Wake Up, I'm Fat. They reconnected in London in 1999 while filming together the NBC miniseries The 10th Kingdom at Pinewood Studios in London. I am honored to introduce today's commencement speaker, Camryn Manheim.
Thank you so much, Dean Parra. Listening to my list of credits, I realize I am much older than all of you. Good morning, congratulations. I just have to say, this is by far the best bar mitzvah I have ever been to. A graduation ceremony is an event where the commencement speaker tells hundreds of students dressed in identical caps and gowns that individuality is key to their success. I just thought that was a little ironic. It is an honor and a privilege to stand before you today to celebrate this wonderful occasion. My father taught here at Cal State Long Beach for 18 years, and I too passed through these hallowed halls before going on to graduate school at New York University. Today, you are graduating from one of the leading fine arts programs in the country. This is a culmination of all those late-night rehearsals, early morning exams, sleepless nights, and endless cups of Starbucks coffee. You should have bought stock. It is a huge accomplishment, and with it comes a great responsibility. I've read a lot of commencement addresses in preparation for today. Jon Stewart, hysterical. Barack Obama, galvanizing and inspirational. We all heard about Oprah's, but I'm not a comedian, and I'm not the leader of the free world, and I don't have my own book club. I am, however, a problem solver. And guess what? You have a problem. You are graduating from college in a difficult economic time with an art degree, which is historically a hard road to travel. Maybe your problem is now that you've graduated, you don't have any idea what you want to do with your life. Or maybe you know exactly what you want to do with your life, but you have no idea how to get there. I am here today to tell you that you have more power than you think over the outcome of your life. My goal is to help you navigate through these rough waters ahead and how not to be a victim, but a victor. I grew up in Peoria, Illinois. My father was a math teacher, my mother was a school teacher. So needless to say, I did not have any built-in connections to help me achieve my dream of being an actor. Nevertheless, I went from sitting on the couch, eating popcorn and watching the Emmy Awards on TV, to actually walking down the red carpet and receiving one of my own. And when my students come up to me and they say, "Wow, Camryn, you are so lucky," I always say to them, "I've got great news for you. I'm not lucky, and luck had nothing to do with it. I did this on my own, and you can too. It isn't easy, but it is possible." So the question is, how did I get from where you're sitting wearing a non-breathable black muumuu to where I'm standing still wearing a non-breathable black muumuu? Well, everyone's journey is different, and it would be impossible for me to impart to you all of the lessons that I've learned throughout my life, but instead I have managed to whittle it down to 8 tenets that I believe were the most important for me to get where I am today. Number 1, don't take no for an answer. No one likes to hear the word no, but most of us accept it once it's been decreed. My life would have been dramatically different if I would have acquiesced every time I heard the word no. Instead, I would find a way to circumvent it. Like the time I answered an ad in the paper to be an extra in the Clint Eastwood movie Sudden Impact. I was hired for $40 a day to stand around the courthouse and be atmosphere in the background. I was standing with all of the other extras when some kid working on the film told all of us to go and wait down the hall in one of those courtrooms. And I remember thinking, who is that kid? Somehow, I don't think he understands that I'm an actress and I don't want to be stuck in a courtroom for the next 16 hours being a blur in the background. So I asked if I could stay in the lobby, and he said no. So while the other 150 extras followed the kid with the walkie-talkie, without him seeing, I knelt down and I tied my shoe. And when the coast was clear, I stood up, and right in front of me was Clint Eastwood and the director, discussing the scene they were about to shoot in the elevator. And finally, the director said, "I need an extra to stand in the elevator with Clint." And I stepped forward and I said, "I'm the only extra here, sir." I spent the next 5 hours with Clint Eastwood in an elevator, the only extra who was in the scene. I got great coverage in the movie, and I got a great education that afternoon. The hometown paper wrote a whole article about how I was the only recognizable local in the movie. That is just one example out of thousands where I did not follow the leader. When you choose not to take no for an answer, it can create amazing opportunities that you wouldn't have had otherwise. Number 2, it's good to have a plan. So here's my question. What are you doing Monday morning? Now that you're out of school, do you have a plan? What do you expect to be doing 6 months from now, a year from now? And if those expectations aren't met, what are you going to do then? I suspect you all have great plans for yourself, as well you should, but in the event that it doesn't go as planned, what is your backup plan? I urge you to start making those plans now and not to wait. Plans should never be made out of necessity or desperation. They should be made when you have clarity of mind, hope, and enthusiasm for the future. And it's kind of like an insurance policy. You gladly make the plans, hoping you never have to use them. Number 3, dream big, but set realistic goals for yourself. In making your plans, it is important to set realistic goals for yourself that are within your control. Don't get me wrong, I want you to have huge dreams. I also want you to be realistic about what you can accomplish in a set amount of time. By setting goals with outcomes that are within your control, you are practically guaranteeing a 100% chance of success. For example, I always ask my students, you're graduating in June. Tell me what you realistically can accomplish by December. And they may say, I just want to have a small part in an independent feature film. I want to get one day player part on a TV show, and I want to have a good part in a play. And while those are all fantastic goals to have, the problem is that you have no control over the outcome of those. Instead, you want to make goals that you have complete control over, so that if you really are dedicated and devoted and enthusiastic, you can achieve each and every one of them. I tell them, well, how about between now and December, I'm going to go on 30 auditions, and I'm going to strive to get 5 callbacks. I'm going to write 100 letters to directors, composers, dance companies, or design firms. I'm going to design my own website. Those are things that you can do. And in doing those things, you are inadvertently creating opportunities for yourself in the future. When I graduated from NYU with a master's degree in acting, it still took me 5 years to get an agent. But during that time, I realized that only I had the power to transform the quality of my life. I couldn't control whether or not an agent was interested in working with me, but there were other things I could do to move my career along. So I subscribed to Theater World and Backstage, newsletters that list all of the plays that are being done around the country, and I started showing up for open calls and auditioning for everything I could. One of the first plays I did out of school was with an unknown playwright who went on to win the Pulitzer Prize for Angels in America. Tony Kushner gave me my first paying job out of school and my equity card. If I hadn't read the publication Backstage, I would never have known to audition, and I never would have had that opportunity. The universe is like a pension plan. If you put 10% into it, it will match you, and you will be operating at 20% of your capacity. If you put 100% in, your odds of reaching your dreams will exponentially multiply. Number 4, don't confuse your life with your work. Ask yourselves, if you take acting, dancing, painting, filmmaking, designing, sculpting, whatever it is that you have been mastering for all of these years, if you were to take it out of your life, what would you have left? Who are you without that one thing? What else brings you joy? I ask you this because when you get out of school, chances are you're not going to get to do the one thing you love to do most of the time. So who are you when you're not doing it? You are an artist. Your art will only benefit from cultivating what is unique about yourself. What besides your work makes you feel productive, fulfilled, and happy? How do you keep your sanity? How do you make each day count, regardless of whether or not you're immersed in your craft? Your art will grow along with you. So get involved in your community, become politically and socially aware, create a safe and comfortable home for yourself, find a creative way to earn an income. Don't think of success as a destination in the future. Enjoy the success that you are having today. Life is not a dress rehearsal, and it is up to you to make each and every day count. Number 5, pay it forward. If I hadn't become an actor, I might have been an activist. I could have lobbied in Washington on behalf of the underprivileged or have raised funds and awareness for women and children. My parents have been fighters for as long as I can remember. And I remember the first time that I was arrested for civil disobedience. I was arrested along with 30 other protesters for participating in a political rally. I called my mother and we had the following exchange. Mom, I'm in jail. You're what? I'm in jail, Mom. Oh my God, what for? Mom, I was arrested for participating in a political rally. Oh, honey, that's wonderful. Mazel tov. Mom, Can you get me out of jail, please? No, honey, you stay in there and you make your point. Click. I see a lot of nervous parents out there, so I should clarify. I'm not actually suggesting that you go out and get arrested, but what I am suggesting is that you find some way to serve your community. Service is the cornerstone of a life well lived, and I am a big proponent of paying it forward. Just as you need people in your corner to help you reach your goals, there are people out in this world who need you. They need you to be their voice against injustice. They need your time and your fabulously educated brain to help them out of harm's way. So while you continue on this journey towards your dream, please remember this. You make a living by what you get. You make a life by what you give. And I know you're asking, will this help me get a job? And the answer is, it will. Because every time you go in for an audition or an interview, you bring your whole self with you. And employers want to surround themselves by people who are not only competent, but confident and conscientious. Number 6, break the rules once in a while. There is no way I would be where I am today if I hadn't broken some rules. I mean, there are some good rules that you should stick to, like stopping at red lights. That's a good rule. Breaking the rules is another way of saying that sometimes it's important to take risks, to do something that makes you nervous, to challenge yourself not to fit in or go with the flow. There seems to be so many unwritten rules in life, but the truth is, if they don't serve you and they don't hurt anyone else, then you should make your own rules. I remember one audition in particular where I broke the rules and it changed my life forever. A casting director who had seen me in my one-woman show, Wake Up, I'm Fat in New York City, thought I might be good in David E. Kelley's new TV show, The Practice. Apparently, David Kelley was looking for a streetwise and sassy girl to play the role of Eleanor Frutt. Streetwise and sassy? I could do that. So I sent David Kelley a tape of the only scene I had ever done on television, which happened to be a scene from Law and Order, where I played a lawyer. And after viewing the tape, David Kelley thought that I was too conservative. But the casting director insisted I wasn't, and David Kelley agreed to meet me. So I flew myself out to Los Angeles to meet him, and the meeting was a disaster. I had flown myself all the way there to meet a guy, and after 4 minutes of awkward small talk, it was over. And as I got up to leave, feeling completely defeated, I noticed a cribbage board sitting on the side of his couch. And a cribbage is a game that they use a pegboard to score with. And I remember thinking, this is it. I could walk out the door and probably never see this man again, or I could break the rules and just ask him a personal question. So I said, hey, do you play cribbage? And for the first time in the entire meeting, David Kelley showed some signs of life, and he sat up and he said, yes, I do, but I don't think you want to go there with me. And I said, really? Because I feel like I could have this conversation with you, continue to try to impress you like I'm obviously doing unsuccessfully now, and I could beat the crap out of you at cribbage at the same time. To which he said, oh, I don't think you understand. I play the computer. To which I said, oh, I don't think you understand. I play for money. So why don't we just forget this audition, Mr. Kelley, and I'll play you right now for the part. If I lose, you'll never see me again. No picket fences, no Chicago Hope, no Ally McBeal, and then I made a slight mistake and I got the name of the show wrong. No prosecutors. But if I win, I walk out with the script. How's that for sassy and streetwise? We didn't end up playing that day because David had to run to another meeting, but 3 weeks later, I got the script. And the description of my character had changed. It no longer said sassy and streetwise. Instead, it said, this big, ballsy woman walks in and takes over the room. I took a chance, I broke some rules, and it landed me the role of a lifetime. By the way, I've already broken the rules today. This speech was supposed to be 8 to 10 minutes long. And when I asked if I could go over, they said no. Get my point? Number 7. See the big picture. Think of your career as a connect-the-dot puzzle. In order to create a rich and complete picture of your career, you need thousands of dots to connect to each other. And those dots have to be laid by you. Every effort you put toward your career is another dot in the puzzle. For example, going to a gallery opening and meeting the artist. There's a dot. Writing a thank you note. Another dot. Calling up alumni and asking for help or advice. More dots. And in the beginning, each of those individual dots seem insignificant unto themselves. It's only after a few thousand dots do they actually start to connect, and this beautiful picture of your career starts to take shape. Meeting David E. Kelley was the combination of at least 5,000 dots laid over 8 long years. I want you to know that all of my contemporaries who have become household names, from Tony Kushner to Marcia Gay Harden, Philip Seymour Hoffman to Deborah Messing, for all the people that I went to school with, it took about 10 years to really begin reaping the benefits of all that hard work. Your 20s were designed for you to struggle a little, to find your purpose and your place in this world. If you think that you're going to get out of school and your dreams are going to be realized, you're really only setting yourself up for disappointment. I want you to be good to yourself and enjoy this ride, which brings me to my final tenet. You always have a choice. Believe it or not, it's your choice how you perceive this journey. You can choose to allow all the hardships to weigh you down and stop you in your tracks. You can choose to let fear paralyze you and make you start to question why you're an artist. Or you can choose to live your life in a state of grace. You can choose to perceive every bump in the road as another opportunity to become stronger, wiser, more clever, and more creative. You are artists. Your gifts can truly change this world we live in. Artists fulfill a vital part of our society. We need you. We have broken a lot of stuff, and we need you to help fix it. Bertolt Brecht once said, "Art is not a mirror held up to reality, but a hammer in which to shape it." You came into this school with a wrench. You now have a complete tool set. Take out your hammers, your chisels, and start creating. And just remember, there is no there. That elusive there with the job, the beach house, the dream, it's not out there. There is here, in you, right now. Your schooling may be over, but your education still continues. And since you're graduating from college with a fancy degree, it's important that I leave you with this. It is not who you know, it's whom you know. Thank you.
Thank you, Camryn, for that challenging, insightful, and altogether outstanding address. It was worth every minute.